This simple e-commerce funnel made me $25 million and over $15 million just last year. I'm going to break it down for you and show you everything you need to know and how you can implement it for your brand, regardless if you're doing 7 or 8 figures per year. And I'm going to show you how this funnel can help you scale from your current revenue to the goal that you have, which is usually 2 or past 8 figures. So I'm going to show you all of that to break down everything you need to know. So just make sure you watch and stick to the very end because I'm going to be covering all of that, and there's going to be one bonus at the very end, so just make sure that you watch it. Okay, so starting off with the basics or fundamentals, all of that is your traffic. Okay, so if you're on an e-com brand, you must have some sort of traffic. It's either going to be Meta ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, organic, or SEO, or any other source of traffic. It could be native ads, or it could also be word of mouth. All of that is just counted as traffic. Then what happens is that people go to your store and you might have or might not have some pop-up, which is fine. If you don't have it, then people won't see it. They would go to the product page right away. Then they would add the product to cart. Half of them would drop off. So only half of people on the product page would actually add the product to cart. The other half would drop. Then they would go to checkout, which again would be just a percentage of those people that would actually go to the checkout from the cart stage. The other half would just, essentially churn. And 50% of those who reach checkout would actually complete the purchase, and the other half would just abandon the cart or checkout. And then the 70% of that, let's say, would never come back, and 30% would repurchase. Now, this data is just an example, and I know that for your brand it might be different. But quite often we're seeing the drop off between, viewed product, added to cart, started checkout, and purchased. Drop off at every single stage is like 50%, okay? And again, it doesn't have to be exactly like that for you, but I guess that if you were to go to Shopify and see the metrics, it would be somewhat relevant. Same goes for the repurchase rate. If you run any kind of product that can be replenished and bought, multiple times, then your repurchase rate will be higher than 30%, We've seen brands with even 70% repurchase rate, or retention rate, which is also possible. But again, this is just, everything is based on assumptions that you're like an average e-com brand, okay? So this is the normal path where someone just, goes through the homepage or product page, they add to cart, we go through the checkout and purchase and maybe repurchase. But let's just look at the red blocks in this case, which is how many people will not do it. So already, the 50% of the traffic will never even add the product to cart. That's it. Like half of the people that go to your product page will not click on add to cart. So half of this traffic doesn't really matter really. They're pretty much just gone and they'll never come back, okay? Same goes for people who added to cart. So the half of those people that actually added to cart, but 50% of those people will just never reach checkout because they like clicking, adding to cart. They treat it like Instagram likes, and they'll just keep adding, but never gonna buy from you, okay? Then you have people who actually managed to get to the checkout stage. They have high buying intent, they're interested in buying from you. But then what happens is that they have multiple objections and multiple reasons for not doing it right now, or maybe they just have some questions that haven't been answered. So, half of those people will also abandon it and never come back. And now if we wouldn't have this, this whole right part of the chart or graph, all those people that leave at certain stage would be gone forever. You would be never able to, reach out to them again. Maybe you could with some retargeting ads, but you know how it is. They're not super accurate. A lot of that depends on cookies. If the pixel tracking is correct, if the ads are being shown, and then they actually need to engage with those ads while they're scrolling through Facebook and have dozens of other ads, similar to yours. So it's not really ideal. But this is where the funnel that I'm going to explain right now comes in. And this, mysterious or magical part is going to be the pop-up and your email list in general. And now, again, if you look at all of that, it might seem complicated, but I'm going to break it down one step by step. So it will be actually very, very easy for you to understand what to do and how to implement it. Because again, this thing normally would be optional and a lot of brands don't have it. And whenever we are being, onboarded that we are starting to work with a 7-figure brand, they quite often don't have it. And they want to get to 8 figures, but they don't have any pop-up or email list on, essentially all of this stuff that I'm about to explain. And if they don't have it, then trust me, scaling is way more harder and way less profitable than if you would have it. And the ROI on this thing is almost double digits. So it's really insane how powerful it is. So now let's assume that you have your store and then you have the pop-up. The pop-up conversion rate should be around 10%. This is like the goal we are aiming for, but again, it can be 5%. Even if it would be 5%, it's still very, very good and it's better than nothing. Now, a lot of people, including myself, like I used to say this too, but a lot of people will tell you that this 10% is 10% of your total store traffic, which would be true if your pop-up would be triggered immediately, which is terrible practice. If you do this, your side-wide conversion rate will plummet. It will just decrease significantly, just like that. So don't do this, okay? This will be 10% of people who view the pop-up. So then based on the criteria that you said, this could be people who have scrolled through 60% of your page. Or you could go to your average session time and see, okay, on average, people are spending 1 minute. So let's trigger the pop-up maybe after like 40 seconds, okay? And this is very important how you trigger it, because if you trigger it too quickly, again, your conversion rate will suffer, but you also will have very low quality subscribers. So this will be people who are not even fully familiar with what you are selling, and they're entering their email address just because they saw, some kind of discount. And then your email list is bigger, but not necessarily making you more money. You need to pay for more profiles in Klaviyo, and you end up overpaying for that, and the overall ROI goes down. So don't do this. Make sure that the pop-up is actually being triggered upon a specific trigger. Now, once you do this, then your email list, which is a black box in this case, is gonna be super, super useful resource for your brand, because first of all, you own the traffic, and then you have a list of people who have high buying intent, who are really interested in buying something from you. So then what we do is, we are sending them through the welcome flow. Now, we also want to optimize your pop-up in a way that if you promise a discount, it is going to be shown on the thank you page of the pop-up. So then anyone who's actually interested in buying won't have to leave your website to go to the inbox, to open the email, to click it, to then use the code and buy. Because these are like just essentially extra steps that some of people might not need. A lot of them will complete them and then purchase, which is fine. But again, you want to make the whole process, so the whole thing from going to visiting your store to purchasing, as simple as possible. That's why having a discount code on the thank you page of the pop-up is important. And yes, your welcome flow revenue will go down because you will be attributing less sales, but your total sales will go up. And this is what matters in the end. So for those who are actually super interested in buying, they would get the pop-up, the discount code on the thank you page, so they don't have to leave anything, and they just continue going through the funnel and they actually purchase. But then you have made a purchase, which, okay, will be discounted a little bit, but it's still better to make a sale at a 10% discount than not to make the sale at all. Plus, you have someone's email address, which then you can reuse by re-engaging them through the post-purchase setup. But again, let's say that a lot of people won't buy from the pop-up right away, so they'll actually go through the welcome flow. And overall, I would like to change your perception of flows or email automations, because a lot of people think about them as emails, like just sending emails and that's it. But I want you to look at them as something that helps you cover objections and have closer relationship or even conversation with your customers, or in this case, prospects, so potential customers. Because if someone goes through, whole this funnel, or even if they just are on the product page and they don't purchase, most likely they have some questions about your product, like common objections or evergreen objections. It might be too expensive, so they don't see the perceived value. They might be thinking about, does it work for me? Maybe competitors have better product. Maybe they have cheaper product. What if I don't like it? Can I return it? What if I don't know how to use it? There's a lot of other objections that people have, and all of them are valid, because remember, you are trying to convert someone from being essentially cold traffic person, so someone who's seeing you for the first time, to give them their hard-earned money to buy something from you. If you think about it from even psychological level, you're approaching a stranger on the internet to pay you money over the internet that they earned in real life, maybe through the internet as well. But you get the point. It's very hard to do this. That's why the average conversion rate is also like 2%. But this is where, this whole setup comes in, because with the welcome flow, you can get a little bit more personal. You can introduce the story about the brand, talk about your USPs, so why you're better, increase the perceived value, talk about guarantees, FAQs, show some social proof, and then convert them into paying customers. And that will be easier if they get a series of 5 emails that actually justify why they should buy from you, and then remove those objections which aren't objections anymore, okay? So this is very, very important. And then, as you can notice, um, for every single stage of the funnel, we have a specific flow that is going to be recovering those people. So if someone goes through the pop-up, they obviously will get the welcome flow. But what happens when they abandon your product page? Well, they're going to get the browse abandonment flow, which again is covering objections. I have another like a bunch of resources and videos on like what are the exact structures that we are using for those flows, so you can watch these. But overall, like I want you to think in this video specifically about those emails as something that helps you solve the objections. Okay, so they're going through browse abandonment, they receive emails, but then if they don't purchase within those 5 emails, same is true for the welcome flow. You can keep nurturing them with your campaigns. So you're gonna be nurturing them 2 to 3 times per week. Targeting your engaged segment. Then you can also be targeting your non-buyer segment specifically, so just this one, or your non-buyer segment. Okay. And this is what's gonna happen after every single flow, after every single stage of the funnel. So this was the example for when someone was abandoning your product page. But then what happens if someone, actually abandons your cart? So they have clicked on add to cart, but they didn't reach to checkout. Well, same thing. So abandon cart flow, 5 emails, then campaigns. And you're going to be nurturing and nurturing and nurturing them until they buy or unsubscribe. And I know this might sound, like crazy to like, why would I want them to unsubscribe? Well, remember when I said about having high quality people with high buying intent? This is your goal. Like your email list, it's not the numbers game. It's not who has more subscribers. It's who makes more money. And you make more money by having high quality subscribers who are interested in buying from you. And there's at least like 30% chance they're gonna buy from you. Because if not, just let them unsubscribe and you don't need to pay for profiles that will not buy from you, okay? So you're making more money by having higher quality subscribers, but you're also not losing it because you're not overpaying for your Klaviyo or whatever software you're using bill. So that's important. And again, some example with abandoned checkout. If they go to the checkout and they don't purchase, they just buy and left. Sorry, they don't buy and left. They're gonna get abandoned checkout flow. Again, covering objections and then campaigns. Now, it's very important to notice that essentially, all of these flows have the same quote unquote structure. So 5 emails covering objections. But remember that every single stage of the funnel, your prospects are going to have different objections. So if someone, has just been on the homepage and they don't know you that well and they haven't been on the product page, then you're pretty much introducing yourself to them and explaining what the brand is about, and overall your welcome flow should accomplish that. So it should introduce your brand to your prospects and show them why you're the best choice out of your competitors, so like the best choice in the market, and then prove them that the product is worth it, they need it, and it is going to work for them. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work, they can return it, so the purchase is going to be risk-free. You want to remove as much risk from their side as possible, and you will do it by just having the right and covering the right objections. But now, if someone has been on the product page, they know what the product is about. They've probably read some description, especially if you have the right trigger for the pop-up, which again, something I mentioned before. That's why you need all of the puzzles, to work together. But these people are gonna have different objections that someone who is, is just super fresh to the brand, the welcome flow. Especially that your browse abandonment flow is also being sent to your existing customers, right? Same goes for abandoned cart flow and abandoned checkout flow. If someone is a returning customer and they, abandon the cart, you can still solve their objections because they will have some. It's not like someone bought from you and they don't see any risk, they don't have any objections, and essentially everything is fine. Not really. Some of those people, yes, like they'll just be huge fans of your brand and they'll buy from you no matter what. But this is going to be rather a smaller part of your audience, and it's most likely not going to be everyone. So for abandoned cart, again, you're going to have different objections and different structure of the flow than for browse abandonment. That's why all of these flows have to be kind of done separately. But I mean, for abandoned cart and checkout, you can really have the same set of flows, just different triggers. But for all of the other ones, you need different content per flow. And that has to be adjusted to the stage that they're in. So in browse abandonment, you could show them a dynamic section with the products that they've seen. Same goes for abandoned checkout. You could be showing them like, hey, you left it. Like this is exactly what you have in your cart. Just come back and finish your purchase. And for example, in browse abandonment flow, they've seen maybe one product, so you want to show them your other products, your other best sellers. Where with abandoned cart or checkout, you don't really want to do this because your main focus should be on making them complete the purchase. So you don't want to show them best sellers and like distract them, because they already knew what they wanted, they just didn't pull the trigger. So you shouldn't be re-promoting bestsellers, where with browse abandonment, one of the objections could be, what should I buy? There's so many products that I don't know what to choose. So again, you would show them bestsellers, your best-selling items. And again, this is the second part of the equation, which is campaigns where, regardless of the stage they're at, you'd be targeting them with multiple campaigns per week. Overall, you want to be sending between 3 to 4 campaigns per week to your entire email list. And again, this is a very healthy split where usually, if you were to end with the just engaged segment 3 times a week, that would be enough. Okay, but if you want to have super high performance, I suggest trying and adding some mix of campaigns targeted only towards buyers, so like cross sells, upsells, subscription promos, and so on, and towards non-buyers. So maybe busting some myths, maybe just removing some other objections, or expanding on specific objections that you just briefly covered in your other flows. So this is very, very important. And now remember that everything I just described, so all of this, is pre-purchase. So we didn't even get to to the stage where someone actually buys from you, and then what's next. All of these flows or emails are meant to convert prospects into paying customers or existing buyers and just recover abandoned cart and checkout. Okay, and all of that is happening pre-purchase, with obviously the goal being sale generated. But after you generate the sale, it's not like you're done and you can just buy Lambo and lie on a beach. It's not true, unfortunately. But you have some more work to do. So again, where there's work to do, emails can definitely help. And in this case, we would have some flows, post-purchase flows that would help. Plus, again, campaigns. So your post-purchase flow should be just making sure that people know how to use the product. You want to remove buyer's remorse, so people shouldn't be feeling bad for making a purchase. They should be confident, like, yeah, I made a good choice. It was a good decision. I don't regret it. You want to remove any regret that they have, because then again, it will be easier for you to sell them more in the future. And then you want to briefly, try to upsell, cross-sell, but don't push it. The main idea behind this flow is to build the relationship, show them how to use the product, because if they know how to use the product, they'll get the results, which will make them buy again from you. That's ideal scenario. Replenishment, again, it will be applicable only for brands that can replenish their products, like coffee, supplements, cosmetics, CPG, all of this stuff. So yeah, this is for those categories. And again, like if I didn't mention a category, but you're in this in some other category that can be replenished, set up this flow. This should be a reminder like, hey, you're about to run out of the product. Hey, we have subscription that allows you to save. You don't need to remember about buying the product. And then remember, if you're taking supplements, it's very important to continuously take them to see the results, because if you stop doing that for a week and then resume once again, you might not see the results as quickly. So just educate them again a little bit more. But then in the replenishment flow or win-back flow, it's usually people who bought from, it's always people who bought from you. But as I said before, they still have objections. So if they used the product and bought it, then there are some reasons why they wouldn't buy from you again. Some of those reasons could be competitors have cheaper product, competitors have better product. It didn't work for me. I'm not fully satisfied. And they're still comparing, they're still comparing you to the competitors. Even if the product worked, they're like, yeah, it worked, it was great, but I'm not sure if I really need it, if it's that much expensive. So you need to keep refining, or not refining, but reminding them why they need the product. So highlighting the benefits and how it will make their life easier, and then show them you are better than your competitors. Okay. So it's very important for both of these flows that you keep doing that and essentially just making them buy again. And of course, you can introduce some discounts in the replenishment flow. Usually, you don't want to be introducing the discount per se. You want to be promoting your subscription model and then highlighting the savings from the subscription. For customer win-back flow, you can introduce a discount. That's completely fine, just because they're about to churn most likely anyways. So it's better to give them a discount and get the sale rather than not get it. I said it before too, and that remains true. Now, the other flow that we like to use is first purchase anniversary, which is essentially a longer win back. You're trying to win customers back after 1 year from the purchase. And the angle of gifting and anniversary and birthday, all of this stuff, it works very well. Being hey, it's our first year, here's a small gift from us, just to make your purchase easier or anything like that. People love it. It works exceptionally well for what we've seen. So make sure that you use it too. And then again, the flows are just flows. You also need to be sending campaigns. which again is all of that is an ongoing work because you need to set up the flows, then you need to test and optimize them, and then you need to be constantly sending campaigns 3 to 4 times a week, every single week for forever, okay? Until you exit the brand, because then someone else will be doing it. But then for as long as brand exists, you should be sending emails forever. 3 to 4 times a week to your list is like a money machine, so you need to do it. Different content based on the customer profile. So again, for engaged ones, that would be different. Targeting buyers only, that would be different. And when I say engaged, under this segment, there fall both the groups. So both buyers and non-buyers, okay? And that's fine that you're sending to those people anyways, because we want engagement from emails and we want people who are opening or clicking them. Otherwise, we will land in spam. So that's why the engaged segment is going to be the base for the majority of your email sends. And if you don't know how to segment your email list, I've got another video, which is like a complete guide that you need this year. Literally everything you need to know. It's super simple, copy and paste definition. So if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say engaged segment, go watch it. It's going to be extremely helpful. But now, as you can see, all of the pre-purchase flows are leading to making the sale, but all of our post-purchase actions, which is flows and campaigns, are leading to repurchase. Okay. And same goes for people who, who won't sign up, because let's be honest, like if 10% of those people sign up, the other 90 won't. And chances are that if someone purchases from you, they might subscribe through the checkout, so you will have consent and ability to send them more emails, right? And if they make a sale, and if they buy from you, you're gonna have their email too, so you can be sending them emails as well. Because what happens is that, if people repurchase, actually it doesn't really matter if they purchase or not, but you'll be sending them campaigns to buy more. I know it might sound weird or counterintuitive, but I mean, if someone will not come back from you or repurchase, then it's quite self-explanatory. You would be sending them all of these emails for the same reasons I mentioned here. These are the same flows and the same, setup, so I don't want to repeat it, but I would be sending campaigns to those people. But then even if someone repurchases, you still want to be sending them, post-purchase flow, maybe not for new customers, but for like second or third time buyers, okay? Replenishment flow, if they don't have a subscription and they bought from you 2 times and you're selling coffee, for example, you still want to remind them like, hey, you're about to run out of the coffee. Same goes for the customer win-back flow. Even if they purchased from you 3 times but are about to churn, send them emails because maybe they're gonna buy for the 4th time. Every single purchase that you make or sale that you make from those existing customers is gonna be extremely profitable because there is no acquisition cost. And if you look at it, and we spend like 10K to acquire 20K sales, and you stop spending money, but you keep making sales to existing customers, then your customer acquisition cost across the whole brand will go down over time. It won't happen overnight, but as you keep sending more and more emails, it will go down, ultimately making your whole funnel way, way more profitable. So again, this is everything that you need to know on how to implement it and how to make sure that you're, making some decent money and scaling your ecom brand at a profit. So make sure that you implement all of that. If you need any help, then you can sign up to my email list where I'm sharing all of this value. But to be honest, the most important flow that you need to set up is going to be your welcome flow, because in most cases, that's going to generate even sometimes like up to 10 or 15% of your total revenue, just because the buying intent is so high. So you need to make sure that you have a rock solid welcome flow. So if you want to learn how to create extremely, extremely high profitable welcome flow and what is the right structure, there's going to be a link below this video. I'm going to share a free resource, like a complete welcome flow masterclass that's going to cover everything you need to know, from the theory to the practice to showing you the exact examples of the emails. So again, it's completely free. Make sure that you download it because it's going to pretty much turn around your business if you do it right. But after you do it, if you still want to keep learning, there's one more flow that I mentioned that I usually set up for our clients that I didn't mention in this video, and this flow is called site abandonment. It's for anyone who essentially is on the homepage but doesn't go to the product page. If you want to learn how to create this flow and what is the right structure behind it, make sure to watch my other video, which is going to show up on the screen. Thank you. Cheers.